Good morning, everyone. This is TrackMan44. Today's the day. This is Wood Splitter Wars 2020. What this is, it's a collaboration amongst 8 different YouTubers. 7 of us are going to be highlighting different types of wood splitters. 5 of them are store-bought, 2 of them are home-built, and we've got one gentleman that's going to be splitting by hand with his favorite maul. So what I'm going to do is give you a quick overview of my wood splitter, and then go about the business of splitting 1/3 of a cord of wood in whatever length of time it takes. So at any rate, let's take a look at that old splitter. This old splitter my brother built back in 1978, and it's a direct coupled power takeoff driven unit. Comes right off the back end of a tractor. Typically your old farm tractor is a 540 RPM power takeoff, but that's a 44 gallon per minute pump. It's got a 4-inch cylinder off of a tractor backhoe, and everything else is all mismatched pieces, all used materials and equipment off of industrial and farm equipment. If you look at the axle, you're going to notice an A-frame design, and you notice this bar setting here. We'll attach this bar with this pin right here, and that'll allow us to multi-position or vary the position of the splitting beam, taking it all the way down to the ground to where it's 8 inches off the ground, and you can roll big pieces right up over the top of your flange and onto this to break into smaller pieces. The baler twine across there gave me a straight edge to put a mark across at 4 foot, and as you can tell, obviously I'm above 4 foot on 4 of those pieces or so. But if you look, there's a couple of voids down in here. I stacked this stuff 3 different times to try to get it as tightly as possible, but I just couldn't because of the diameter. So I just kind of allowed a few to go up on the top, you know, to kind of approximate the differences in the void. Actually, it's 48.5. In the middle, it's still 48.5. And then of course on the end, and hook it right on there, bring it right out to this point right here. You can see there's 8 foot just inside that sapwood right there. We'll split it. I'll let the timer run until I'm done. Like I say, we'll post how long it took. Alright, now I got to come clean on this very first one. Look at this first piece. I'm so, right there, that piece right there. Normally I'm so used to these things busting apart whenever I crack them like this. Whenever they hit the ground, that one in particular did not break into the 3 pieces that it should have. So that's my disqualification right off the bat there. But at any rate, and unfortunately, because of the time it took me to split the pile of wood, I have to run almost all of the wood splitting at 2 times speed. So that's what you're looking at, is 2 times speed. And every now and then I look over at my wife like I did right there, because I didn't quite push far enough, you know, I couldn't pop it apart by hand. But it's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing to split dry wood as compared to green wood. So many of the times I really don't have to move that push block, you know, the full distance, as you can see on many of the pieces. Now what we have here is a combination of hickory, I believe. Yeah, hickory, a good percentage of oak, and then also locust. And it's all hardwoods and everything. But unfortunately, not having green wood, I was stuck with having to use this wood that's been cut for somewhere around 2 years. Some of it might even have been a little bit longer than that. But I tried to pick them as hard as possible, as solid of pieces as possible, with the least amount of sapwood around the perimeter. But at any rate, yeah, if the wife had a good time, you know, filming me there, I think she was laughing at me a couple of times, and but she was not a distraction. I was just tickled to death to have her there with me, you know. But if you notice, I have to reach back and hit that lever a couple of times. There's a reason for that. That valve has a detent position where if you pop it forward, it'll return. It's supposed to return the wood splitter, the cylinder, all the way to the hilt, so you can start the next cycle. All right. Well, I did not warm the splitter up whenever I got ready to start this project. Simply because when you warm it up and the oil gets warm after about 10 or 12 minutes of running, that detent position on that valve works fine. When it's cold, it wants to pop back out on you, so I had to repeatedly put that back into that detent position. All right, and there's a reason for that, and I'll probably cover it right there. I did it again. I'll probably cover that in a follow-up video or something like that. But remember how I was bragging about this thing is never broken down and all that kind of stuff, you know, just a little minor this or that. Well, whenever I was getting ready to warm it up this morning for the video, I noticed an odd sound. I went and checked, and the Lovejoy coupling has a 6-legged spider that connects the two steel 3-legged pieces together, and that's the cushion that's in between and connects the two halves of the coupling together. My 6-sided spider was actually disintegrating, and I was afraid that if I warmed it up any length of time at all, that one there's a little pain in the butt there. If I warmed it up any time at all, there was a good chance that it was going to fail sometime during the video. And if I'm going to have a failure, I figured it was going to be during this video, after all the bragging about it not suffering hardly any breakdowns over the years. So at any rate, once this was done, the first thing I did was, after I got a sip of my coffee, was went over and inspected my Lovejoy coupling, and out of the 6 stars, or the 6 legs of the spider that's in there, I had part of one left. I was that close to coming apart and being metal to metal during the filming of this little demonstration. So this is actually a fairly accurate demonstration. I don't split just quite this fast. We split consistently, we split hard, but I'm getting a little bit older. I don't run quite this fast because I just don't need to. And I really didn't run as fast as what we could have right here, simply because I was still at just over a fast idle on that tractor. So my GPM is considerably down from the 44 gallon per minute on that single stage pump. If I was to pull that throttle back and run that tractor engine, at full RPM to where the PTO would have been turning 540, I would have had 44 gallons per minute, and that ram speed is phenomenally fast at that point. But like I said, I don't like to work that hard. I just don't work that hard anymore. And I also had that impending failure, and the harder you work it, the quicker it's going to come apart. So I thought I would let you know that. Now that's not an excuse or anything like that. This is a fairly accurate depiction of how we work the splitter. Now, whenever I'm working with my son or my son-in-law, or those two boys are working together, they obviously get a lot more done, simply because I can stay on the other side and keep feeding them the materials to where they don't have to take any steps hardly at all. Literally pivot around, and the other pieces are right there. And I try to keep it stacked for them right at waist high, where there's no bending and swooping. And the two of those boys put together can really knock out some wood as compared to me. And then you also got to consider too, this is not a commercial splitter or anything, and it is built out of 99% of salvage material or recycled material. And most of the stuff is off of job site dumpsters, and the rest of it is, like I said in the prelude, it's all used industrial and farm machinery components. And I have my wife zooming in and out, and she kind of ran a little bit off of the minute number on the timer, but you can see the seconds continue to scroll on. So she was accurate with it. But at any rate, this was a really fun time, and I really am glad that Roger and those boys thought enough of me to include me into it. But we're getting really near to the end. I think I've got this one and one more piece, and I guess you can tell that we've slowed back to real time. So this is the actual speed that I'm working. I think there's one piece remaining right now, and I think I misunderstood my wife whenever I gave her the sign that I was completely done. I thought she said 13 minutes and 15 seconds. In actuality, it was 13 minutes and 20 seconds. So that's what it turned out to be. It was a fun time, and I was glad to be involved in it. And I kind of sweat just a little bit. It was 72 degrees that morning, as a matter of fact. But yeah, we were happy with how it turned out. That's my demonstration for Splitter Wars 2020. It was a fun time. And remember, the other 7 participants in the demonstration are listed in my description. And if we can come up with the wherewithal, we will make a playlist on the end screen. Don't know if that's going to happen, but look in the description of mine or anybody else's video so you can click on the other respective channels and get to it easily. So you know what? Like I said, this was a fun morning. And this Tractor Man 44, and I'm out of here, man.